Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I love art journaling, and I have a fun project for you today. Oh, thank you, Keenan.
Yes, hello.
This is a moon at night, and I'm excited to paint it because we use this really shimmery shimmer paint. See that? Like, can you see the shimmer though?
Shimmery shimmer paint.
It's called black marble. So let me tell you about the supplies we're going to use, and we'll get into it.
Sorry, I got excited about the shimmery shimmer.
We're going to use this Dylusion's black marble shimmer paint, and this is new to Dylusion's line of paint, and it is just fabulous. I love it. We're going to use the trusty old white linen. We're going to use Lunar paste for this texture here. We are going to use this Gold Faber Aqua watercolor pencil for some little details here. We're going to use the mop brush for some of these bigger areas. We're going to use the round 8 for some more detail. We're going to use our X-Acto knife to cut that out, and we're going to use a palette knife for this texture on here and for our yes paste when we're gluing things down. Those are the supplies. This is our project, and if you haven't been here before, we like to mix up techniques and prompts to just give you a jump start on your art journaling. So we're going to read this prompt.
Yes.
And if these kind of prompts inspire your art journaling and you get excited about it, great. If you're like, I don't know about that, then don't worry about it. Like, you can pick and choose what works for you here. So this prompt, we've been talking about rituals, and we talked about morning rituals, and we talked about creative rituals, and now we're talking about nighttime rituals. And in this one, it's appropriately named evening. So
I love evening rituals.
They're the best ones.
Especially if brownies are involved.
I don't really think that calms me down at night, but hey, if your point is not to calm down, then brownies.
A nice warm brownie makes me feel at home and comfortable. It's safe.
Okay, here goes the prompt. What is your nighttime ritual? Do you make time for things that signal to your brain that it's time to wind down and get ready for rest? What things work best for you? Are there things you'd like to try that you haven't done? Let's take some time in our journals to explore nighttime rituals. And I really like the idea of something that's routine, so that my body like recognizes, like, oh, we're drinking that sleepy time, you know, tea right now. That means we're gonna go to bed soon or whatever. And I have found, as I've sort of changed my nighttime routine up a little bit and tried new things, that there are things that help me get more acquainted with the idea of getting to sleep and resting. So I like thinking about that. And those things could all be different for us. But I thought it'd be fun to make a page in our journal to remind us that that rest is important, and looking at our nighttime rituals and routines is worth a little mental effort, a little thought process there.
Absolutely.
So now, since we're getting ready to make art in your art journal, and this could be a little mindful, restful moment, let's take a deep breath and signal to our body that we're about to make some art, and we're gonna just chill, right? So I like that idea of thinking of that too. You ready?
Ready. I was ready.
Oh, head feels good. All right.
Yes, I was ready. Oh,
you need another one? Go for it.
That
Your little shoulder.
me. That's nice.
Roll. Whatever you got. Good job showing up, making art. I'm so proud of you. That's the hardest part, right? Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to grab my journal that I did some of these other projects in. If you haven't done that yet, go check them out. Use my clip, keep my page back, and I got my journal ready to go. Now, for this moon, you could just paint it on your paper like that, and it will totally look fine. I liked the idea of having a little bit of that color in the background, and I thought, oh, we got that in our collage paper. And if you followed along with me, I just reserved a little spot there when I used another piece, so I'd have that ready for me. So if you watched that video with me, then you know what I'm thinking about. If you didn't and you used it differently, no big deal. You can use another piece of paper, or you can just go for a little circle that size. I want to tell you that I use this to make that circle. But if you don't have that, you can use something similar sized for the moon.
That's convenient.
Lunar paste for moon shape seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah, agreed.
That's like you didn't catch that.
I didn't catch. I was like, no, it's a great shape.
Yeah, it's perfect. Lunar paste. Okay, so we're gonna cut that shape out for our moon. And I really love this sentiment. I welcome rest into my body and mind. Because a lot of times when I go to bed at night, I'm like, I got so much tomorrow. I got to go to sleep so I can be rested for this big day. And then I stress myself out because I'm thinking about how important it is for me to sleep and I can't sleep. Yep. So I like that. I welcome rest into my body and mind. And that can be sort of a You can twist that mantra for art making, like, I welcome rest and creative time right now, or whatever, you know, get creative. All right, so I'm gonna cut those two things out in a little bit. I just wanted to show you what we're doing there. And I'm gonna start out doing this page with the shimmer paint because it's so fun and it's the first step. So let's dispense our paint. I knew it would be shimmery, like when I got the paint to test, but I was like still surprised at how cool it is. So I'm gonna start with that amount and I'm going to use my oval mop brush. Did I say we're using the oval mop brush today in the supplies? I don't know if I did. I thought I did, but.
I think you did.
Okay. Mavis is gonna do some cool things for us. So I'm gonna start out with a thicker amount and then I'm gonna add water and make it lighter as it goes up towards the moon. Cool?
Cool.
So when I first started painting with this, when I was testing this paint, I was like, all right, it's cool. Then I moved the page like I am now and I saw the shimmer, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a fine shimmer. Like it's part of the particles that make it shimmery are just so tiny that I just really think it makes it a cool paint. I don't even know how to explain what I'm saying, but the shimmer is just, it's like gunmetal or in the black. Like, because it seems like it'd be hard for a shimmer to show up in a black paint. But it does. But they knew what they were doing when they did this. Oh,
it shows up and it shines.
And it shimmers, and it's so cool.
It shimmers.
But it's like not so distracting either. It's just like a nice, perfect amount of shimmer. Y'all, I'm excited about it. Can you tell?
Yes, a little bit.
So pretty. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, now I'm gonna start using it more watered down. So I'm gonna rinse my brush and just add some more water here. And I like using this mop brush because it kind of gives us little sort of bigger brush strokes and it allows for some more like, I don't know, cloudy kind of shapes. Now I'm gonna rinse my brush a little bit more and I'm gonna drop in some water because I think that could be cool to get some.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Blooms maybe. See, might have been waiting too long for that. And now I'm gonna start trying to have this, I got too much water on my brush. And if that happens and you're not patient enough for it to dry, you can take your paper towel and just try to soak it up a little bit. And then we can drop paint into that if we want, you know? I just like the idea of building textures, and it doesn't have to be like this perfect cloud-like thing. I think the idea of it being abstract is also kind of cool, so don't be precious. It's just gonna be fine. Okay. So I'm just starting to have more of a round shape because when I think about the moon against the night sky, it kind of glows in that radiating sort of shape. And it's okay for there to be some white space because then maybe that's the moonlight coming through the break of clouds or something. I don't know. Could be cool.
I think it's like fog.
Yeah?
You know, a little bit of fog up there.
Yeah. A little bit of midnight mist.
Yeah.
A little misty.
Midnight mystery.
And see, if this is still wet and you want to drop in some more paint, you can do that. Just have fun. Have fun with it. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. I'm gonna mess with that too much. Okay, then I'm gonna hit a little bit up here, sort of round it out, the gray. And if I decide I want this to be darker value later, I can come back. I don't want to overdo it too much. Maybe just, this guy can come out like this. I just added a titch more pigment in there because when it comes back down here, maybe it's a little darker. I don't know.
I like that, giving it a little bit of shape there right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And the edge of this brush is just so fabulous to kind of move around and create shapes. So I like doing that. So just explore that, you know, maybe you have more of a circular shape, so you just work the edge of the brush around in one spot. And maybe one of these places that we have still wet, we can add a little bit of water to. Get a bloom in there maybe, it's still wet enough. Oh, so fun. This is like my favorite part of this one. It's just creating that. And if you want this to meet up, you can, or it could be going off the page. It's up to you. I think a nice light value in there is nice, and I'm just gonna add this a little bit lighter value into the area that I'm trying to go for here. There we go. And I like the idea of that being soft. So because that's still wet, I could kind of sort of massage that out, that hard line out. See if that is pretty cool. All right. I'm liking where that is for now. So I think what I want to do next is kind of decide where my moon's going to be. And then I can decide kind of how this all works together.
Nice.
If you want, you can let this dry while you work on the next thing, or you can give it a little hit of the old heat gun. Except for it's not called that, it's called the Ranger Heat It Craft Tool.
It's a Ranger?
It's a Ranger brand. So Ranger makes this, and this, and this, and this. They make a lot of really great products. We love Ranger.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, that puddle is gonna need some time. And I don't want to like shift my paper too much. I know I like to get under it in that situation, but it's going to make my paint kind of roll that way. So I'm just going to be patient with it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm liking how those blooms turned out. I'm thinking I like this one better than the first one.
Yeah, I like this one. It's kind of got that brooding feeling.
Yeah, I like that.
It also kind of looks like a dark sea.
Like a what?
Dark sea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let that go on its own for a minute. And we'll cut out our, whoop, got my black water about to spill out everywhere. That tickled my throat, okay. I traced that on there already, but if you haven't, then that would be a step you would want to take.
Oh yeah, I feel like you did that at a different point though.
And on another tutorial.
Yeah. Schmack.
So we got that cut. Let's cut this part right here. I welcome rest into my body and mind. If you got a ruler and you want to fret about the straight edge, do it. If not, just go for it. So now that we have this, then we'll have all our things that we needed to cut out ready to go. And I didn't use these other elements in a tutorial, but I liked the idea of the alarm clock and the toaster because you could journal about your routines and whatnot, but I think it's cool to think about what routines we have and what other routines we can tie to the already routines that we have, so that like one thing triggers another. You know.
That's a great idea.
Like one I have is like when my kids are brushing their teeth right before bed, I switch to the laundry.
Yeah. A routine within a routine.
Yeah, it's like, oh, brushing teeth, laundry.
Like self-programming.
Oh, okay. So let's do the lunar paste on our moon next. I'm just gonna get my lunar paste ready, and I'm gonna grab my palette knife because I kind of want it to be textury. I'm gonna get the yes paste off of here though. Oh, yes paste on there is probably not gonna matter, but all right. So I looked at an actual picture of the moon when I did this, and I thought I had one. Let me grab it, see if I have it. This is a gamble. I may have it in my box. I may not. I do. Okay.
Ooh.
So I got this moon, and I thought I wanted the texture to kind of emulate the, value on the moon.
Yes.
Like this.
Yep.
So if you want to do that, great. If not, just go for the texture. It's not a big deal. But I just thought, hey, that's cool. So I kind of like that.
That's a great idea too. I like that because it makes it look more like a moon, obviously.
Yeah.
Than one would think.
And I'm just kind of pressing the palette knife down to kind of get that cratery texture. Of course, my palette knife is kind of sticky, but. And I'm just putting a little bit on the tip so I can control where it is and get some of those little smaller spots. And just get that in there like that.
That gold is fun to play with.
It's so fun, and you can just keep referring back to the moon like I got here if you want, or you can just go for it. And if you feel limited by your palette, like I just want it to be like in that one spot, you can use your brush or something else, or your finger. I kind of think that's cool. My fingerprints make a kind of neat texture too, just how it is. And then I think there's like a little bit more there, maybe a little there.
Look at that little moon just developing.
Happy little moon, so gold and just luxurious. The gold makes it feel special, I think.
I think there's a song called the Moon Song,
Yeah?
but I can't remember the words.
So I'll just put the top back on my paste so it doesn't dry out. And this is one with my board. There we go. Some leftover yes paste from another project. Okay, so then we can kind of, oh yeah, this dried nice. I got some good stuff in there.
That's a good sky.
Now if you put it right in the middle, it might start looking a little eggish. So I like the idea of it kind of being a little over, and then we can work some value around there if we want to add to it or whatever.
Have it a little over easy to the left.
Over medium. I mean, my eggs look like that too. They're all, yeah, it's fine, whatever. So I want to come in and just add a cooler blue value with my watercolor pencil. I think that's kind of a fun thing to do. And the nice thing is about this is you can leave it pencil lines if you like that look, or you can go back in with water and blend it to what we got going on here. And if you want another circular shape to keep you going and you got a little bit of yes paste around, you can just put that guy on there. And
man, if that's too bulky, you could just use the lid.
yeah, I think a little saucer would work nicely too.
Yeah.
It's always fun to go on a scavenger hunt in your house for the right size circle when you need it. Liking that.
Nice.
And then you can kind of use that as a guide. So if you want some more value in here, then you gotta space it out however you want. There's no rules. I'm thinking I want more of a little bit of softer colors here, and then maybe when I wet it, it will just kind of blend. So. And then maybe a little here in that darker value. Titch, just a little tiny bit, baby bit right there. Where to put my moon? Oh my gosh. We're gonna do this again. It's fine. So it's gonna be cool in the middle. Okay, so we can get our brush wet and just try a little bit of blending that. And it's just so soft. It's just so subtle. I love that.
Is it on the bottom of the Yes Paste container?
Totally. Keenan saves the day. I was going to look for it in a minute.
We were going to be looking for that one for a minute. I went back to the recording.
It makes sense. I put it right on there, and then I picked it right back up. You guys, I hope if this happens to you, Keenan will save the day for you too. I just thought, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to think about where I put that moon.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So funny because we did that with... You'll see when you watch She Likes to Make Art Matter.
Oh, it's so good.
And when it stuck to the bottom of my Yes Paste, it took a little bit of my texture off. But then I kind of like that it has a little white spot.
Added a little texture for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here you go.
I'm into it. I am into it. So I wanted it to be a little offset, and then I can kind of come in and just add a little subtle here too. And you know, you could get super detailed with this. I wanted to keep it simple and just the idea without getting too crazy. So don't stress about it. And I kind of think it's fun to work back and forth with the pencil and wetting it and see kind of what your value is, especially if you've never done this before. It kind of helps you gauge what's going to happen and then keep working into your painting. I kind of just want that to come like that, a little bit darker. It's always like a fun challenge to like, I'll decide what the supplies are and I'll have like maybe a couple of projects figured out right away. And then there might be one that's like, I'm still developing that I haven't figured out yet. Like I knew I wanted to do a moon, but it was kind of like a chef's challenge to use all the supplies, you know? So I was like, oh yeah, and we can still use the blue for the, anyway. So sometimes it seems like you gotta have all the supplies to make art, but I actually think sometimes having it be limited helps us be more creative. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I'm liking this. Okay, now the last step is just to add some white to kind of blend and add some highlight as well. And then we'll glue on our stuff. And if you got a lot of black in your water where it's turning your brush, your white gray, then you might need to wash your brush, wash out your paint vessel, whatever.
Got it.
My goodness. So just some highlights for the white. I think I want a big passive white right here. So I'm just gonna push my brush down so I can get a nice like pass of that white. And it's gonna be subtle because we're just putting it on this already light color of our page. So that's okay, because subtle is what I'm going for here.
Detail moments.
Mm-hmm. And then you can come back in here and just lighten some areas so it feels like that light is radiating. You know, just make it your own. Just do your thing.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Thank you. Just, these are just subtle things. No big deal. I just like whenever you lighten things on the shimmery stuff, that it's just like feels soft but still shimmery. So I'm just adding a little here and there. And kind of blending it in. So we don't lose the shape that we created, but we just soften the value and have it kind of continue to look like the moon is radiating through these moody clouds we've created.
I think it's going to do a great job. The moon is strong and independent.
Small and mighty.
But strong.
And I like the idea of having the brushstrokes go in a circular way so it feels like it's radiating.
Yeah.
We're almost done here. Just a couple more spots. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Isn't it cool when you get to that part of your painting where you're like, oh, it's coming together. Now we're talking.
That's when the painting says, coming together. See
I love it. I love that you'll break out the song. I wanted to jump in there with you, and I was like,
Nope, don't do it.
Right now.
You should have done it.
Is when I should have jumped in.
Right now.
Thanks. I just really wanted you to sing it for me. So.
Down.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then if you want to get crazy, I put a couple of little dots in there just for fun. Just because it's me, and I'm always adding dots to everything.
Highlight dots. Moody dots.
Something. It's a little magic.
Dotty dots.
Little peaks of light coming through, or maybe, you know, the stars are barely coming out. I don't know. I just like it, okay? You can leave out the dots if that's not your thing. It's all right. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just going to just put one more right there.
Group of 7 in various locations.
Just one more group of a million. Thanks, Keenan.
You're welcome.
He's like, all right, you did it. It's just, you know, you're in a good place where you just want to keep going because it's so fun. I like how this turned out better than the first time. Isn't that cool? All right. Okay. Get my yes paste. I feel like I'm ready to be more restful just making this.
Oh, totally.
All right. My paste is dry now, so I'm not going to ruin my texture by flipping it over. But that was the point of doing it earlier before I stuck it to the yes paste. Keenan, you really had me on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just thought if I kept painting, it would come to me, like where to put it.
I wish I had thought of that trick from when we filmed previously.
Oh, yeah.
Because that might have saved us a few minutes.
Well, it ended up being funny, so.
It did. It was
okay.
It's a good time.
Oh, yeah.
That looks awesome.
Thank you. I'm
wow.
excited. It's popping.
You know that song by Macklemore that says, I'm be poppin' tags?
I don't, actually.
Well, I was trying to think of an art journal version for it, and I think I got it.
Let's hear it.
I don't remember the exact words that he starts with, but what I'm going to start with is, I'm going to be popping pages.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I definitely think this one's better than the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so fun to make. And it's so fun to make it with you. Thanks for being here, making time for art, and thinking about welcoming rest to your body and mind. I hope you feel more rested after we made this. And I hope you'll take some time to think about, you know, the rituals that you have at night, the routines that you have. And if you come up with something that's improving, you know, your experience and it's something you like to share, you can share that with your art journal page because we love seeing what you make. And I think we did pretty good.
Totally.
So if you want to share what you made, we have this fabulous Facebook group called Let's Make Art Journals. You can share it there. You can share it on Instagram. Just sharing is caring, right?
Totally. 100%.
Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.